The Black Country Living Museum opened in 1978, utilising land around a canal basin and a large lime kiln and redundant land which formerly housed somewhere in the region of 40 mine shafts. The first stage of the museum was a 1900s-1910s village with some industry, which I do remember from a previous visit in 1987. The initial 1900s village has expanded since my first visit, and a whole new area based around the 1930s has sprung up. On this visit, we didn't even get to see any of that. As with all these sort of museums, I see things which I think I remember. But do I remember them from my own actual life experiences, or are they memories of things that I've seen in museums such as this before, or in old photographs, or on old railway stations recreating the past? Wherever the recollection came from, I enjoy visiting these sort of museums. This film is merely a small snapshot of what we saw on this visit. The faded painted advert on the higher reaches of this building came with it when it was dismantled and rebuilt brick by brick at the museum. Most of the buildings had a little explanatory plaque, such as this one, giving the history of the building, what it was used for, when it was closed, and when it was relocated to the museum. Too much detail for a short film like this, though. Across the road to the chemist's, but first a quick look at the Providence Chapel next door, and right across the road from the chapel, a Den of Iniquity. More about this later. I certainly don't remember pubs with sawdust on the floor like this one. I do, however, remember prices of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages being of the sort of level they were charging. I partook of a dandelion and burdock, which was absolutely delicious. Nor do I remember pubs with lots of small rooms and so spartanly decorated. I do, however, remember pork scratchings, having been introduced to them by a university friend who actually hailed from the Black Country. I've loved them ever since, although I have never ever heard them described as a pig jigsaw before. Time to go with the bus ride on the sort of vehicle that I vaguely remember from my childhood years, with the engine at the front and the door at the back. They had all gone quite early where I lived, in Sheffield, although I later managed to ride on many of them whilst living in London, where they survived in the form of route masters for a lot longer. Away goes the bus, leaving us to walk back to the entrance of the museum, knowing full well that we'll be back to explore more of it at a later date.